in the early 2000s, Blockbuster was on top of the world. They had thousands of stores, and their video rental business was thriving. Around that time, a small, relatively unknown company called Netflix approached them with a proposal. Buy us for $50 million, and together we'll revolutionize the way people rent and watch movies. But Blockbuster said no. They were comfortable with their existing business, and they didn't want to risk losing the revenue they made from late fees or deal with the cost of moving into a digital space. So they chose to stick with what they knew. Fast forward a decade, Blockbuster was bankrupt, and Netflix had become a global giant worth billions of dollars. Why did Blockbuster make this decision? It wasn't just a poor strategy, it was something deeper. It was something called loss aversion. And today we're going to talk about how this psychological bias affects not just businesses, but also the choices that we make in our own lives. Loss aversion, a term psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky coined in their work on behavioral economics, simply means that we're wired to feel the pain of losing something far more than we feel the joy of gaining something of equal value. Imagine you're doing laundry and discover you lost one sock from your favorite pair. Even though it only cost a few dollars, losing that sock really bothers you and it occupies your thoughts. A week later, you find $5 on the street, objectively worth more than the sock. And while finding the money makes you feel briefly happy, it doesn't give you nearly the same intensity of emotion as losing the sock did. You still find yourself thinking about that lost sock, even though you gained something more valuable. This imbalance shapes so many of the decisions that we make. And here's how it often shows up. 1. Economic uncertainty. Think about times of financial uncertainty when costs rise, markets shift, or inflation takes center stage. People often go into protection mode. They hesitate to make big decisions like buying a home or changing jobs, even when it could lead to better outcomes. Why? Because the fear of losing stability feels more powerful than the potential benefits of taking a leap. 2. Scarcity mindset. Social media, advertising, and even the news constantly remind us that resources are limited. The perfect house, the perfect job, the perfect partner. That scarcity mindset triggers our fear of missing out, which ironically can keep us stuck. 3. Overabundance of choices. Paradoxically, having too many options can make us more risk averse. When faced with endless choices, whether it's picking a streaming service or deciding which home to buy, the fear of picking the wrong option can lead to total inaction. 4. Cultural fear of regret. Let's not forget the cultural obsession with avoiding regret. Social media comparisons fuel this like crazy. We're terrified of looking back and saying, I should have done that instead. So what do? We cling to the status quo. Now, why or how does this matter in real estate? Because let's face it, these are high stakes decisions. Here are some ways that I see it all the time. Sellers holding out for the perfect price. A seller might refuse a great offer because they're fixated on avoiding a loss. They think if they wait just a little longer, they'll get even more. Sometimes that works out, but other times the market shifts and they end up with less. Buyers afraid to overpay. So on the other side, we have buyers worried about paying too much. They'll wait and wait, hoping the market will cool down. But in a hot market, waiting can mean prices go even higher and they're left regretting their hesitation. 3. Sticking with the status quo. Sometimes people resist moving altogether because they're afraid of losing what they know, their current home, neighborhood, routine, even if it no longer serves their needs. That fear of loss can keep them from taking a step toward something even better. So how can we overcome it? Or I suppose more realistically, manage it. The first step is recognizing it. If you're aware that loss aversion is influencing your decisions, you can pause and think more clearly. So here are 3 strategies to help you break free from its grip. 1, focus on the long-term gains. Ask yourself, what will this decision look like a year from now? 5 years? Often the short-term loss isn't as big as it feels in this moment. 2, weigh the costs of inaction. Sometimes not making a decision is the riskiest choice of all. What are you missing out on by staying put? 3, lean on trusted advisors. Whether it's a realtor, a financial advisor, or a friend, having someone to talk through decisions with can bring clarity and perspective. We know there's no such thing as a risk-free life. Loss is a part of growth, but when we let the fear of loss keep us from moving forward, we're missing out on the opportunities that could be waiting just on the other side of that decision. So next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of losing? And what might I gain if I take that leap? Remember Blockbuster? Their fear of losing their late fee revenues kept them from seeing the bigger opportunity in front of them. Don't let loss aversion turn your story into a missed opportunity. Choose to look ahead and embrace the possibilities before you make your next right move. I would love to hear from you in the comments or use the link to book a call with me. And I'd be super grateful if you'd like, share, or subscribe. Until next time.